Oh my gosh, where is my camera? What is happening? Hold on, y'all. I promise, one of these days we're gonna have one of these days. One of these days we're gonna have it all together. I promise. So, let's see what's going on here. Told you, we're back. We're good. What is up, everybody? How y'all doing today? So, um, to give a quick, we're just gonna go right into it. So, the other day we were going through the process of getting Batacera set up on our machine, and then it just kept running into all types of issues. I thought it was because it was a zip file versus unzipping it. Come to find out, it had nothing to do with any of that. It was actually more because the pace. It was more of the fact that I think the USB was just jacked up. So because of that, let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear me and everything. And I got background music going, and I hope it's not like drowning me out. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on today. We got the I hope it's not like drowning me out. It is kind of okay. So, all right. So anyway, where we are on my microphone. Okay, the microphone. We sound good here. We sound good. We're good. That is. So, all right. So anyway, where are we at? Yep, microphone sounds good. All right. So like I was saying before, we were starting the process of building out our retro gaming machine. We had the mini PC. We had that all set up. Everything was updated. We were just downloading Batacera, and then when we downloaded Batacera, we were moving it to. We used a tool called Elena Etcher to upload it to our USB drive as a bootable disk. And then we kept running into a bunch of error messages. And like I said, at the time, I thought it was due to the fact that it was a zip file versus um, yeah, I just thought it was due to the zip file. And then what ended up happening was it looks like the USB was corrupted somehow. So when we did some troubleshooting, tried a couple other things, it wouldn't move over. So we ended up using another tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the process from scratch, and we're going to go through the process of showing you how to get Batacera and how to download the Lena Etcher. But we're also going to show you another tool called Rufus, which is another tool that serves the same purpose as the Lena Etcher, that will create a bootable disk for you. So hold on one second. Let me just go over here to grab watching Call of Duty Major in Miami. Atlanta already got knocked. down to the losers bracket. So a little annoying, but whatever, we're good. All right. So anyway, if you hear some banging, one of the stores, the neighbors, they're doing some construction. So just gotta deal with it. All right. So for those of you who are watching, looks like we are streaming on both our Alpha Cybersecurity and Alpha Esports Technology channels. I have it on Alpha Cybersecurity, even though it's not cybersecurity related, but people do like retro gaming. So we're gonna just kind of go through the process of how to build that out. And then just to show you over here, we still have our PC set up. Let's just move it over, back it up a little bit so you can see. So what we're gonna do, just to kind of recap, say hi. Okay. So just to recap what we're doing, it's actually you're watching me watch me. So what we're gonna do is, I keep repeating myself, we're gonna start over again and go through the list. Right? So let's just go ahead and write out the list again. So we'll put this over here next to me. So first, we are going to download Batacera. We're going to download Belina Etcher and Rufus. So you have your choice. We're going to zoom in some so you can see what we're saying here. Okay. We are going to install Batacera, not Batacera, to our USB, and we're going to use Belina Etcher and Rufus to do that. And we're going to boot to we're gonna boot our mini PC with Batacera. I think we were going back and forth. I think I said I'll probably set it up as a dual boot just because I want to make sure I have the Windows machine for other needs. And then once we install Batacera, we're going to install Batacera and the emulators. And then we are going to install our ROMs. Install ROMs. Now remember, I cannot show you where to download ROMs from. We own our ROMs, so we don't have yeah, we can't show you where to download ROMs. However, I'm pretty sure if you're here, you are somewhat tech savvy and can find that. What's going on, Ty? How you doing? So we're gonna install, as far as the emulators are concerned, we want to install, do some Atari. We're gonna go old school with Atari, NES. So we're gonna say Atari and the ColecoVision. We're gonna do NES. We're gonna do a Super NES. We're gonna do Sega Genesis. We're gonna do a Sega Saturn. We're gonna do Sega Dreamcast, which, like I mentioned before, To me personally, is my favorite console. Um, Definitely, even to this day, Dreamcast is still like top, probably top three. I don't know. I love the Sega Dreamcast will always be near and dear to my heart. Let's see, Nintendo 64. Let's see, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and I think and then, oh, we also need to make sure we have our arcade slash main. Okay, so main basically is or main is basically our like arcade games. So we're gonna make sure we have those in there because I definitely want um, the old beat 'em up games like Ninja Turtles, Captain America and the Avengers, the 1989 X-Men game, and a few other ones. And for those who are wondering what MAME stands for Multi Arcade Machine Emulator. Okay, so that is going to be what we're going to start with. Now, let's say wish list. And for our wish list, we're going to say Xbox. I mean, honestly, you could probably get away with the Xbox on up there, but I'm going to say Xbox, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, completing 120 days of web app learning and migrating to wireless. Ooh, that's aggressive. All right, so that's gonna be the wish list for basically like somewhat last gen consoles, right? So Xbox, Xbox 360, Wii U. How could I forget? My apologies. GameCube. Can't forget the GameCube. Let's also throw in handhelds in the wish list. So right now we want to make sure we have. Oh, y'all aren't even looking at my stuff anymore. So here's the list. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get through probably this part today. The ROMs will save for another day on how to install the we're gonna install all the emulators. We'll probably get through all of this, and then when we get to the ROMs, we'll go through the process of how to install ROMs. So there's a couple ways you can install ROMs. You can download them, or you can upload them from like USB or something like that. Or you could do what is known as a server message block or SMB transfer, where we open up a port and transfer from machine to machine and move it over that way. We'll probably just upload it since it's like literally right here. And the crazy part is with all of the games that we want, it's probably not even going to take up a whole lot of memory. So we'll probably just go through the process of showing you how to upload. We'll actually go through the process of showing you how to do both, and then you can use this as a guide. Now, like I said, I cannot show you how and where to get ROMs from, but there's some Reddit posts out there. Like I said, Google searches, you should be fine. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and go through our process. So again, we are going to close out all these other windows before we share our screen again. And then we will go to botacera.org. And then we're going to also do Elena Etcher, and then you can do, oh, that's Lucius. All right. So let's go ahead and share our screens real quick. So here you'll see botacera.org. And let me move myself out of the way so you can see. And let's get rid of that so you can see what's going on. So we have botacera.org. And again, Botacera is a Linux distribution. If you remember our AppSec rabbit hole, we talked about the Linux kernel and the operating system or distros. So Botacera is a Linux distribution, and you can download multiple different versions. So if you wanted to download for desktop, PC, laptop, NUX, which is technically what our mini PC is, or Intel-based Apple computers, you can download here. If you have a Steam Deck, you can download Botacera for that. Raspberry Pi 4s and 5s. We'll probably do another video on how to install to a Pi. I actually started it before. If you look at my social media, Alpha Esports Tech on Instagram, you got to scroll down a little bit, but we did start going through the process, but we didn't do Botacera, we did RetroPie. But you can go through that process there. And then if you need it for handheld consoles, like the GPi case, so you can, as you can see, they have a Raspberry Pi type case for handhelds for like Game Boy. But if you wanted to do that, there's different setups, right? If you wanted to do Pi boards like the Pi Zero, so basically think of this like almost like a Fire Stick, right? But it just doesn't have that USB setup. But you could plug into it. I mean, you could probably get away. You probably would use that in this GPi case, but you probably couldn't get too much on there. Probably do some, you know, like I would probably use that for like the handheld systems. Looking at which here we go, Pi Zero. So here's another one. So there's like I said, there's a bunch of them that you could use. I do, while we're here, these are Odroids, these are B-Links. While I'm here, because years ago I bought an Asus Tinkerboard years ago, and it was still new when I got it. I was at Micro Center looking for a Raspberry Pi and could not. They didn't have them at the time. That's when like they were really hard to come by. But they had this Tinkerboard, and I tried to install stuff at the time, and I could not find it because it was still new. So there weren't many images out there. What I was trying to do, I was trying to build a Kali, like a Kali machine that I could drop on a client site, plug up to their network, and then I could SSH or remote tunnel into. So all right, so like I said, so you're gonna go ahead and let me get back here. So if you pick whatever one, like, so here we're gonna download. We already downloaded it the other day, so we don't have to worry about that. But we'll download here, and then same thing with Elena Etcher. Elena Etcher is a tool. Let me take my face off camera. Elena Etcher is the tool where you can flash your images onto an SD card or USB drive. And then Rufus is another one that you can do the same. So what we ended up doing, because we had a faulty USB stick, what we ended up doing is, where are you? We ended up actually scrambling around, and we found a SD card, a micro SD card, and that had a USB adapter. So what we ended up doing is installing Batacera Linux on this SD card, and then just plugging it up to the USB, and it's going to serve the same purpose. What we did was we used Rufus because we were still having issues with Balena Etcher, but we used Rufus to go ahead and move the files over and make it a bootable disk. So we're going to go through that process of how you would do that. So you download Batacera, and then after you download Batacera, you would use Balena Etcher or Rufus, right? So I'm going to show you how to do both. So let's just go ahead. We're going to plug up the USB for the sake of the video. Okay. So just to confirm that so we do have it. So now what we'll do is we'll open up, we'll go to Balena Etcher. And Balena Etcher is going to give you 3 steps. So as you see, flash from file, select target, and then hit flash. So if you want to flash from a file, you would just click that, and then here is our Batacera that we downloaded. And then our target, if you already have, once you have the USB, it'll actually find whatever USBs you have installed. Obviously, if you do show more, these are our actual system drives, so we're not using those. So we would use that. We'll select that, and then all you have to do is hit flash. Okay, now we're not going to hit flash for 2 reasons. One, the file is 9 gigs, and we have a 4 gig drive, so it would crash anyway. But we already did that previously. So that's how you would use Balena Etcher. If you wanted to use Rufus, you would go here, go to Rufus, and then you would download the latest release, which is 4.7. Okay, and then once it downloads, you would open up Rufus 4.7.exe. It's going to load up, and as you see here, it's asking for some more information. Now it looks a little bit more intimidating than Balena Etcher, right? Let's do a side by side. So here, Balena Etcher is just like, it's boom, 3 steps. Oh, flash from file, select your target, flash. This is the same thing, it's just not as fancy looking. So, for example, the device is your target. So the device would be the E drive, the 4 gig, which it already detected. The boot selection, it is looking for the disk or the ISO image. So we would just make sure we click that, and then we would hit select, and then again we would just select our Batacera that we downloaded. Then you honestly don't have to, you can skip all of this, and then you would just hit start. So you'll go ahead and hit start, and then when you hit start, what will happen is it's going to first wipe the USB that you have in there. So if you have anything that's important on this USB drive before you make it a bootable USB, I would go ahead and copy your stuff over to another drive, or back it up, or just kind of review it, and if you don't need it, then delete it so that it can format it. Because what it's going to do is going to make sure that it's formatted and it's clean before it installs the operating system. So, like I said, we already done that already, so we can actually close out both of these. And what I'll do is I will show you. I'll show you what it looks like after the fact. So hold on 1 second. I take it back. I won't show you at the moment because I will have to. Well, where's my hub? Like, we have so many things going on, but hold on 1 second. Here, I'll do this. Give me 1 second. See? Stop. Oh. Okay, so see here is going to say you'll need a format before you use it. We don't need a format. We're not looking to use it. We just want to show you what it looks like. Oh, I'm sorry. It's looking at another drive. So if you look at our drive, we've named it Batacera. So here's our boot config file. There's our security certificate. And then basically it's just the tools that's needed to run the bootable image. So that is pretty much it, right? We went ahead and downloaded Batacera. We then went ahead and downloaded Belina Etcher or Rufus to flash it as a bootable USB. And then we ran through the flash process. Like I said, we saved a lot of time. It does take a little bit of time to do it. If you saw the stream on Monday, it was a little disastrous, but it did take some time and it kept crashing. So I wanted to make sure that everything was good to go. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to unplug that, and then we're going to move over to our other machine that we have over here. And we're going to go through the whole boot up process. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to go off screen and plug up the USB, and then we're going to go through the reboot process. Okay, so 1 second. So now I am, just so you can hear what I'm doing, I'm going to unplug the USBs, the two front USB ports for that I have my keyboard and mouse in, because I want to plug up our bootable USB to the front of the machine, so it's easily accessible, so that I don't have to keep running back and forth away from the screen. So I am back. See? So now, just to show you, let's go ahead and show you our USB. We're going to go ahead and plug up our USB drive. And remember, it's the SD card that is going to boot off of. This is just the card reader. All right, so we're plugged in here. And as you can see, our PC did catch it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try a couple things. So we're going to reboot and see if it will boot from USB automatically, or if we're going to have to change some settings in the BIOS. Actually, let's just go through the process of changing the settings in the BIOS, so that if you do run into any issues, you'll know how to do that. So let's go ahead, move this here, and we're going to hit restart. And then I believe booting to the BIOS for this machine, I believe it's F2. So we're going to go ahead, and once it reboots, we're going to hit F2. So right now I'm just pressing F2. And F2 is not the right machine, the right button. So we're going to go ahead and hit restart. We're going to try F11. If F11 doesn't work, then we are going to Google it, so that we're not sitting here all day. What's everybody else's weekend plans? Okay, so that didn't work either. So we are going to just quickly Google. Um, so just while I'm doing that, um, we got an action-packed weekend here at the center. We are. So they said F2, F10, or escape to enter the BIOS. So tomorrow is actually going to be fairly quiet because, like I said before, we were eliminated from playoff contention. However, we are going to monitor very closely um, that final match because the two teams in the finals are the team that eliminated us and the team that we beat for the championships last year. So super excited to see how that goes. So just for the record, I tried to boot to BIOS using F10. That didn't work. So F2 didn't work. F11 didn't work. F10 didn't work. So now we're gonna try the escape key. And it says if oh, I'm sorry, it says the delete key is the not escape. And that worked. So they're playing for the championships. However, Saturday we have our duos finals, and we have our LCQs, so our last chance qualifier at 2 p.m. And then if we qualify for that, then we make the championship match at 4 p.m. And there's actually two opportunities in the championship match. One is the championship, which is self-explanatory. But the other opportunity that we have is to make the national tournaments. And the national tournaments, from what I was told, and I don't know if any of my team is watching, but the national tournament will be held in North Carolina. So shout out to North Carolina Esports Academy. Shout out to Caleb and that team over there. Congratulations for being the host center for that. So we're gonna bring this out a little bit more so you can see what's going on here. All right, so now we have our BIOS. Let's see if we can get a better screen here. And this is why this is the disadvantage of doing it live, because I could have just recorded this and then did another video and just had like a little circle or a square with me over here like, hey, but it's fine. So so now we have our BIOS, and we are going to make a couple changes. So first, we are going to look at our boot menu. And here you see we have the boot options, right? So you see we have boot option number 1, which is our Windows boot manager, which is our hard drive or our SSD. Boot option number 2 is if you needed to boot from a different device. Boot option number 3 is if you have a CD or DVD drive, which we don't have. But boot option number 4 is our device. So what we want to do is we want to change the boot order. Okay. Now there's two ways we can do this. Like I said, we can move boot option number 4. And from there we can boot to, so this way it'll boot straight to the USB. Or let's see. So I want to see if we could actually just select it at boot up. No, I don't think it's gonna let us do it there. So yeah, we're gonna have to change the boot bin. So that's fine. So we'll go here and we want so there we just if you hit space a couple times, you'll see it'll change the boot option. So now boot option one says our USB device, which is our generic storage. Okay. And then if we want to look at the UEFI, we can. I want to change. I think I want to change that, or do we need to save it first? All right, so we'll hit F4 and we'll save the configuration. And now it's gonna reset. And now when it boots up again, you shouldn't make a liar out of me, but looks like it went okay. So we're booting back up to our stuff. We have our machine. Press any key to stop the system reset, which we don't want to do. Are we in a loop? We'll continue to boot. Okay, so there we go. So we had to actually go ahead and hit the key. So went ahead and we're booting, and now we are in the Batacera install. So right now it's just loading up. So you see there we have the Batacera image. You know the one thing about diet and exercise is that in the beginning you're hungry. All right, so if you look, we actually just booted right into Batacera, right? So here you could actually see we already have a bunch of stuff here. We have the Commodore 64, PC Engine, we have the Nintendo's Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, we have a Game Boy Advance, Pi game, Sega Mega Drive. So basically you see we don't really have too much, right? If we if we wanted to, we were going to have to install more emulators. But we're not ready to do that anyway. We need to go ahead and install and see. I've never used Batacera before, so go ahead and close that out. So what we need to do is we need to find our favorites, all games. So there's already a couple games on here, but we don't need that. I'm still looking to do. Where is our menu? Fix it, Felix. Ha ha ha. Let's see. All right. Let's do our Googles, people. Now I know at one point we're gonna have to plug up a controller to it, which I already have. But before we do that, like I said, we need to go ahead and move it over to right now. What it's doing is it's booting right off of the USB, and we want to actually install the operating system. So if you look here, we'll just switch over here, you'll see we went to the wiki for Batacera. Um, and we're here at install. So this is if you want to install it on Raspberry Pi, but we want to install the PC. So here we went through the process to boot here, and now boot to Batacera, let it automatically expand. 1 second, y'all. Let me take this phone call. All right, sorry about that, y'all. We got where the Switch 2 reservations just went live somewhere, so um, I'll tell y'all where after we secure ours. All right, so system settings. So we've just plugged up the controller to our USB, and now it opened up that menu. So we're gonna go to system settings. Um, we're good with this. The time zone. Let's change our time zone. Come on. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. You big dummy. It's okay. I'm talking about myself. So we should be looking for Eastern time. So we're just scrolling. So okay, so we went ahead and wait, why is it? Jeez, I knew. Was it GMT +5? I think. I think it's ATC. Yes, so GMT5. Yep. So just want to make sure of that. All right, so we're good. Show clock in 12-hour format. Sure. Power saving mode reduces power consumption when idle. Useful for handhelds. We'll leave that by default. Screen reader text to speech. We'll leave that off for now. User interface mode. Lock down certain config menus. No, we don't need that. We don't need to worry about Kodi settings. We don't need to worry about that. 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 We don't need to overclock. Okay, so we just need to scroll down here. So we have our storage device, backup user data, and then install on a new disk. And that is what we're looking for. So we're going to go ahead and install on a new disk. Why are you telling us a network is required to install on a new disk? We shouldn't have to do that. Let's just go ahead and let's go to our network settings. Let's enable Wi-Fi. Okay, so we enabled Wi-Fi. Let's try this again. Why did you? What just happened? Back up, back up.
I think Boston's qualifier schedule was the easiest, softest thing I've ever seen. I don't believe the 4-1 is.
All right, looks like we have to do this again. So we're gonna go here, 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 here. Start, select. Oh crap. Back up. Start over again. I did the wrong thing. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Start, select. What the heck?
The giveaway sway. Ladies and gentlemen, the final match is ready. Let's go to the stage. We've got Blaze. All right, Chris, I'm ready to get this final
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready for the last matchup of the day? The first team coming to the stage is looking for a big win. Get ready, because into the breach we go.
Let's just do this real quick. Oh. Network settings. Okay, so we need to enable Wi-Fi. I'm telling you, this is the this is when you have to deal with live streaming. So not that I don't trust y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my Wi-Fi password in. Not that unless y'all come here, you know, there's nothing you can really do, but just in case. Okay, we're gonna move this over here. Hit enter. All right, so now we'll move back so y'all can see again. All right, so now we have all of that, but we're waiting, I guess, for waiting to connect. Are we waiting to connect? Connecting to the network seems to be taken. There we go. Wi-Fi is now enabled. Fantastic. So if we now just go back to our system settings and we want to scroll all the way down to install on a new disk. Okay, install on a new disk. It says network is required. That's great. Fantastic. We'll hit enter. But you know they always get better at landing with the crowd behind them. It's our last match of the day, guys. It is our last match of the day. Come on. This crowd has been awesome. One more time for it. It's always been felt. Da 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 da.
Was the break schedule so soft? Is the control turnaround finally the thing that puts him over the hump? Because we know the search and mark when it there are times, control is not. So, yeah, especially the Arsenal.
So we're just system information. All right, so we have all of that. We have all of that. Screen, okay, cool. Install. New disk. Network required. Okay. Install advanced services. Don't need to do any of that. Get back. Check our network settings. All right, let's check. We're just gonna check our settings again. Okay, so that looks good.
You lose 3 maps in a row, and universe the phase with just some maps that you probably should have closed out, some mistakes that are coming on through. And who knows if that goes through game 5 or the
All right.
It's been the tale of this year. Just a lot of mistakes, roster changes, trying to catch back up if you're often. And remember, for London, for Boston,
all right, so we're just gonna go ahead and back here because I'm not, I don't know what's going on again, but we're just gonna map our controller again. So here, 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 up, down. Oops.
See if you can do it this epic series.
Okay. Okay. Enable Bluetooth. We don't need that right now. We don't need any of that right now. Don't need any of that. Okay, so we still don't have. We still don't have an IP address yet. Oh, okay, so we're still not connected to a network yet, even though we're connected to a network. That's interesting. This is why I don't like trying anything new on live stream, because it will make a fool out of you. All right, so system settings. Let's just roll install on a new disk. Still telling me that a network is required. So as you can see, there's a couple games here. I think these aren't actual. These are like open source. So that's, but just to show you what it looks like, we're gonna go ahead and play the original Doom. Where's our sound? I think do we need to download sound drivers? Let's do knee deep and our buttons are a little different here. Have to remember that this is yeah, we definitely need sound. So I mean, so far it's not looking bad. So we got what we're looking for. We got it working. Oh. Out. Man, I just got beat up. Can't say the word I was gonna say. But... Ah, health. Okay, cool. Got some more health, some more armor. Here, got some more health. Some more health. Man, it's over here. Ah! Oh, he shot through it. Where's my shotgun? Get off me. You know, it sucks that I, without sound. All right, so let's go ahead and quit the game. We need to get some sound. We need to get some. We need to get our network drivers installed or something. All right, so what if we disable the Wi-Fi and then re-enable the Wi-Fi? Turn it off and turn it back on again. Or here, let's restart the system. Even though I feel like it's not gonna do. Trying to figure out why it's not. Let's see. It's probably gonna make us do it all over again because it's booting from USB. We need to boot. We need to install on the disk. Oh, okay, that's a little different. Okay. All right, we might be moving in the right direction, y'all. We might be moving in the right direction. It still says we don't have internet.
emerge as he's in the snap back with the angle. I thought Snoop was going to get a couple of times. Work is probably off. Austin Breach are holding. This is where you need it.
Okay, let's just try something again real quick. Let's go back over here.
Position outside of the weight there. Just one optic player is there to be shot. This is probably the most interesting part we talk about winning position because you got
Okay, we're gonna go down to the system settings.
pick up the pitch right there. If you were away from the coach and see if it's no penalty, he was last.
Okay, so we need to go.
They find three Snoopy's going to find 4-18. This would give them a lead. It's at the time. I think we're able to do that out there. 3-4 down. Reach. Lead change, Luna. Lead change, and reach now. Bill out.
All right, so let's do this.
When we see a team really control this P1, it's when you control the outer stairs, when they Snoopy's doing it right now. They find three now away that they did on this hill. Just have to deal with that. See that easy.
All right, hold on. Let's see. Let's check the wiki again. Let's check the wiki, y'all. So it says make sure you're connected to the internet and that your USB has enough free storage to download the Batacera image. Okay. Boot Batacera. Press start. Open the main menu. Okay. Install on a new disk. So let's just see here. So the storage device. Okay. Select your target architecture. It should be the same as what you selected on the download page when you first installed to your USB. Okay, that's fine. Check that you selected the right drive. Okay. Right. Do we need to change? It's still okay. So the problem is it's still saying that that I'm not connected to the internet. Why am I not connected to the internet? That is the question. Okay. All right, so let's see. Still saying we need, okay, so we need to make sure we're connected to the internet first. Okay. So then, it's interesting. It's just not. I don't know, y'all. I think we're at another standstill, which is extremely frustrating because we're gonna reboot again and let's see what happens. So just to give a quick recap, like I said, we're trying to install Batacera. It boots from the USB. When we try to boot, when we try to install it on the hard disk, it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so we're back up into the main screen. Okay, so we're back here again. Network settings. Okay, boom. Now we're cooking. Okay. All right, now we're good. So we're back in the game, folks. We're back in the game. Okay, we'll go back there. Let's just check our. Okay, so now let's go back into our system settings. Let's change our output to the HDMI. Okay, audio profile. We don't need to worry about that. Screen rotation, overclock, multi-screen storage device. Okay, so install on a new disk. There we go. So it's gonna wipe. It's not gonna let us dual boot. So you know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to separate the drives. So we're about to show. Yep, we're gonna have to. Okay, so at least we know we're good here. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll back up. Oh, we have sound now. All right, so we're making progress. We are making progress. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to reboot. And now while we're going to reboot is we're going to boot back into our Windows system. And then when we boot to Windows, I think I pushed the button by accident.
Action. This flush shot. He seems to always be a beast and search to destroy. You do that the second he came into the league. that has been something that has continued for him. Yeah, where they have struggled a bit throughout this qualifier. I mean, it usually felt like he was shooting the team in the backpack a little bit. He's trying to get dialed back in. They need a big land performance out of him. Maybe a two in the search for the short that too.
So we're probably gonna have to boot. I'm gonna have to go back into the BIOS. I hope I don't have to go back into the BIOS. I'm gonna have to go back into the BIOS.
Suddenly he is dropped. That's just one where it is chow, top cat. That was done quickly. Well, that's what's feeling a hard counter by opted because you 2-2 split that. Really, what you're trying to do is the two top ball. Open side.
Okay.
Players from this bomb site can hit through the hallway and be there.
That's fine.
But that is just not what happens.
That's fine, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead, since we already know how to boot to the BIOS. So we're gonna switch over, and then we are going to scroll down, and we want to go back to our hard disk. And now we're going to hit F4 to save and exit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to boot back to our Windows machine, and then we're going to use the disk manager, and we're going to separate our hard drive. Okay, so, and then by doing that we're going to create a separate drive, and then we'll be able to dual boot. I mean, in all honesty, we probably don't need a whole terabyte.
You were in 2 versus 3, now 2-on-1. In the clutch shot, wait a bit, 1v2.
Probably don't need a whole terabyte, but what we'll do is we'll do 750. Okay, so here you'll see we have all of our drives. We have we have a healthy. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no.
I'm not worried about the finesse. Let's square up and shoot. 3-0 start.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and shrink the drive.
See if we got a square up here. Top ball scan. We sure don't.
And we're gonna bring this drive down. So what we want to bring the drive down to is we're gonna leave about 300 gigs. Yeah, we'll leave about 300 gigs. So we're gonna do quick math, y'all. So in order to get to 300 gigs, we're gonna need to do like so. Okay, so let's just bring our calculator over here so you can see it. Okay, so 1 gig equals 1024 megabytes. So if you were to just look at the math real quick, you would say 975,445 divided by 1024 equals roughly 952 gigs, right? So if we have 952 gigs, we want to use, well, let's do about 700 gigs. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go 700 times 1024, and that's 716,800. So on our machine, it says enter the amount of space to shrink in megabytes. So we want to do 716,800. Oops. 716,800. Okay. which would leave us 258,645 megabytes. So now just to do math over here, 258,645 divided by 1024 equals 252 gigs, which is fine because again, we're not really going to be using our Windows like that. So I'm not too concerned with it. So that'll give us about, like I said, about 700 gigs or so. So we'll go ahead and shrink. And now you'll see we have 700 gigs. And now what we want to do is we want to create a new simple volume. It's going to give us a little bit, and we're going to assign this. Sure. Let's leave it at F. Do not assign a drive letter or a drive path. Yeah, let's not assign anything. Right. Okay, do not format. Okay, so we're going to perform a quick format. Boom. So now you'll see we have 700 gigs here. So now we're going to go back and restart our system. Okay. So now when we reboot, we got to go back to the BIOS. Oh, that's Boston. I thought that was Texas. All right, so now we're going to reboot. We're going to go back to our boot drive. We're going to hit space, 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 so that it reflects our USB. We're going to hit F4 to save our configuration. We're going to go ahead and continue to our boot. And now we should boot back into our Batocera image, which we did. And see, now we're moving a bit faster. My only hope is that it did not, and it didn't. Okay, I'll say my fear was that it was going to boot and not have our settings that we saved. But it looks like we're good. So now let's just double check. We check our network settings. We still have an IP address, so we are good to go. So now we can go to our system settings. We can scroll down to our install on a new disk. And now we can select oh man. It made a liar out of me, y'all. I'm gonna have in order to save the Windows disk, I would have to back up to another drive. All right, whatever. Let's just do it, y'all. Let's do it. It's a new PC, mini PC, and if I need it, I'll just we can get another one. Or we can just reinstall Windows the old-fashioned way. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to go ahead and install Batocera. So now we're gonna have a one terabyte Batocera drive. So while that's downloading, let's go ahead and review the wiki. So okay, so that's if we just need to install the Batocera. So let's go back up to the main menu. So again, if you look here, it says Batocera will only show the systems for which ROMs are installed for. As more ROMs are added for different systems, more systems will be shown. To update the game list, press start and go to game settings and update game list. So we'll do that first. Bodicera is already shipped with a free selection of ROMs, which we've already seen. And then here's the drive. So you have your boot partition, you have your virtual file system, and you have your boot configs and all of that. Then you have your BIOS files, the system folder where the configuration is. So this is what's happening now. So as Bodicera is installing, which we are currently at 32%. As it's installing, it's creating these different partitions. So here it's going to give us our BIOS files. It's going to give us our ROM files. It's going to give us all of that. And it's going to give the library of game manuals. Okay. So what we're going to have to do is install some ROMs. However, we're not going to do that on the stream. Okay, emulation station. Let's go here. So gamers who are emulator fans tend to come across the same problem over and over again. I'm just looking to see. These look like some other stuff. If you consider all the different formats, in an attempt to solve the problem and avoid your emulator from getting too messy, emulation station puts everything in one place. It's a front end. Okay. All right, so we need to make sure that we don't run into this issue of all of our emulators being all over the place, or all the ROMs being all over the place.
The stage seemed to be the kryptonite. Red card, though, is done. The game reloading up.
Emulation station has several common functions. Okay. Press start on the controller and bring up the main menu. All right, so we're currently at 86%. So I mean, the downloading of the files is fairly quick. Again, there's not much on our Wi-Fi, so we don't have to worry too much about that. So what I'm looking at now is looking at the multi-arcade machine emulator, because usually with MAME there are so many versions, there's so many emulators, and it can get a bit annoying if you don't know which one you're using. So Bodicera looks like they come with libretro, iMaim. This is a light for the weakest board. So this is for Raspberry Pi, right? So we don't need to worry about that. The default version is 2003 plus, so it's light on resources, like the Raspberry Pi 3. MAME 2010 is fast enough to be run on weak hardware by having more compatibility. The latest one and the latest, so this will probably be the one that we're looking at, or so it'll probably be libretro or MAME that we're gonna use. I'm assuming everything is writing, because we're done. Nice. All right, so it says everything is done. So now we can go ahead, and we need to, since we have network, right? Let's back up. Network settings. We still have network settings. Great. We need to do. Let's make sure we have all our stuff updated. Okay, so these look like what's happening here. These look like open source. So these were made by people in the community. We're gonna go ahead and grab. Let's see if we grab a couple of them just so we can make sure we have the emulators in here. An error occurred, download error. Steam, all games favorite, Atari, Commodore, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance. So it looks like it didn't take, y'all. All right, well, let's go back to what we were doing anyway. So we have our themes here. And here's our emulation station. So let's go ahead and let's install this one and see. So that's going to the queue. And let's install this one as well. And let's install forever. So what we're doing now is we're just installing the different themes. Which will basically be our interface. So right now they're currently they're downloading, so they're not installed yet. Okay, so we can back out of there. What's the bezel project? I don't know what the bezel project is. Select bezels to install or well, we're gonna look around. Okay. So we check for updates. We want stable updates. So now we'll start updates. No update is available, which sure, if you say so. So we got a bunch of things updating. I didn't mean to boot into Cody. I'm just pushing buttons, y'all. Let's exit. Let's exit. Let's exit the Bottasera. Ugh. Okay. All right, so we have emulator stuff. What I want to do is I want to find. So we have a version of Donkey Kong, Fix It Felix. We showed Doom. Right. So now let's see. So now if we show the systems that are empty, you'll see there's a lot more to go off of. So there's MAME, Atari 5200, Atari 78, Atari Lynx, Atari Jaguar. So ColecoVision, Commodore 64, 128, the Amiga CD32, easier. So there's Mugen. So there, as you can see, there's a lot you can work with here. We're probably gonna go back and turn this back off since we definitely aren't going to be using that. But as you can see, we have Xbox 360. So there's a lot to choose from. Okay, so Nintendo, Game Boy 2 players, Super Nintendo, Virtual Boy. I forgot about the Virtual Boy. Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color, Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Pokemon, Nintendo DS, Wii, Nintendo 3DS, Wii U, the 3DO, ports. There's a Zelda Classic, Pie Game Pinball, Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, or the Sega Genesis, Game Gear, Sega Mega CD. So this was when you could put you had the Sega CD that you put on top, or I mean on the bottom of the Sega system. Sega M2, Sega Saturn. So that's one of my favorites, but like I said, it's definitely, and that one just holds a spot because that's when I started really getting into gaming and tech stuff, and I've told the story so many times about how we made that work. The Sega Dreamcast, like I said, uh, top five top five system. Debate me, debate yourself. I don't care. Neo Geo, Fatal Fury, uh, PlayStation 2, PSP, PS3, PS Vita. So, okay, so it looks like our wish list can actually be fulfilled. And again, we're using a PC, so there's a lot more capability versus there's more capabilities with the PC versus using a Raspberry Pi that has limited functionality. So I don't remember. So while these are still downloading and stuff, I think what we'll probably wrap this up. We'll probably call it a night here, and then I will work on getting the ROMs and stuff. And then what we'll do is, like I said, I won't show I'll show how to set up to get the emulators, but like I said, as far as the ROMs, we can't show that on screen, but we can show the transfer process. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and turn off showing empty systems. And we'll back out. So now we're back to just what we have. Okay, so Super Nintendo, Classic Nintendo NES, and like I said, these are games that kind of came with it, but these are, I believe, these are community games. You know, I just thought of something. What does it say on here as far as what we're looking at? I just thought about that. Okay, cool. It says just chatting. All right, great. So, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and call this a night, so these can finish downloading, and then tomorrow we will go through the rest of the process. So, thank you for, again, it was supposed to be something, and then we had to do some troubleshooting, but that's the realities of live streaming. And as you can see, like I said, none of this was premeditated or whatever. But we'll probably go through the process and clean it up again for future videos on the Alpha Esports Technology channel. So we're going to go ahead and leave this. I appreciate everyone for rocking out with us today. We're going to go ahead and call it. And I'm going to finish watching this match and find me something healthy to eat, because we are back on our healthy grind. So, thanks everybody for watching. I will see y'all tomorrow. And like I said, we will get through. So let's see what we've done so far. What we had about it. So we've downloaded Batacera. Check. All right, so let's do that. So downloaded Batacera. We downloaded Boolean Etcher and Rufus. We installed Batacera to the USB using Boolean Etcher and Rufus. We booted to Batacera. We installed Batacera, and we got some emulators. And now we need to go ahead and make sure we get all of our emulators there, and then we'll install ROMs. And then what will happen is if what we install goes through clean, then we'll go back and look at some of these more last gen systems. Actually, you know what? Honestly, the Xbox can probably go up here with the current list. And then we'll go PS3, 360, Wii U handhelds. And then we'll go ahead and install ROMs. So, what I want y'all to do is let me know if there's a specific ROM you want on the list, and we'll see if we have it, if we're able to access it. Remember, can't download them, can't show you how to download them. We'll show you how to transfer them, and we have to own the ROMs because we want to do this the right way. So we're gonna go ahead and log off, and I appreciate y'all for rocking out with us. And see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna try to log in tomorrow early. We got a lot of work to do. We want to get ready for our event on Saturday. So while we're working, I'll be streaming live from the center. So also, we'll probably change up where we're streaming from, change up the location a little bit. Still be in the center from a different location. This bland background, it's not doing anything for the aesthetic. So we got a lot. Again, and just to recap, we're building this out because we do have a big open house event on May 17th. So if you're in the area, please stop by. But we're gonna get this ready, get it up and running. I want to probably build like a cabinet and stuff for it. So we'll go through that process as well. So I want to have this ready to go, as well as some other stuff. So as you can see, like we're building some other things here. I'll probably show this. This will probably be the next thing that I showcase after we're done, at least getting this done, which I hope to do by tomorrow. So you guys be safe. I will talk to you guys later, and thanks for watching. Peace out. I'll at y'all later. Bye.